What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Future Knight Eric here, back with another deck profile, one that you've seen multiple times in the past few weeks, but yeah, this is pretty much a return to the deck profile just because I won locals today. 5-round locals, 21 people, amazing turnout. The tournament was held very professionally, very well kept, very safe. Temperatures were taken, social distancing was practiced, and masks were worn. So yeah, that's pretty much the intro. This is Burning Abyss. You know me, I play this deck. This is my all-time favorite deck, and let's get into the tournament report. So my round one was against Andrew, playing zombies, pure zombies. Game one, I actually won the dice roll, so I got to go first. Established my normal board of IP Beatrice with a set Dynamiscus and a set Strike. He ends up Kaijuing with the Dark Kaiju, the Beatrice, and then activating Zombie World and super polying the Beatrice and the Dark Kaiju and IP into a Starving Venom. I asked him why he didn't go into the Zombie Fusion monster. He said because usually Starving Venom is better, and he only plays the Zombie Fusion because sometimes not all monsters I control are dark, or the opponent's monsters are dark. So he goes into Starving Venom, and then the discard off of Super Poly is actually Glow Up Bloom, which he then chains to summon out a Doom King. As he summons out the Doom King, he goes into battle phase. I let battle phase happen, no problem at all. But then what I do is, in the end phase, actually, I Dynamiscus, and then I target the Doom King. Now, banishing the Doom King is very, very strong against zombies. Very, very strong. So, and I discarded my Sir, summoning back a Dante, and then I had a Tour Guide in hand. Now, a lot of these games I'm going to be speaking about, Tour Guide in hand for the third turn, or even going second, is absolutely cracked. It is, I've never seen her put so much work in my entire life. Insane card. Anyway, game two, not much to speak on there. He just bricked constantly, and I won that round. Round two was against Matthew, playing Zephyrs, the Pendulum Monsters. His deck was quite interesting. He was running a small Madolce engine with the Searcher and the one that summons itself if you control no monsters in grave, which is pretty cool because they're Pendulum Monsters, so they 9 out of 10 times wouldn't be in grave anyway. And then he would go into Granite and search the Zephyros, I believe it's called, the Searcher, the one that looks like a goat. So he was playing that, putting up some pretty, Omni Negate boards and whatnot, but luckily this deck can play through most of that. He did at one point set up a board. We had the spell that says I cannot special from grave or deck, which was quite rough, but he had a monster with only 1,000 attack. So what I ended up doing was just making a Dante, milling 1, attacking, making Zeus, clearing the board, and then normaling a Tour Guide. So again, that normal of the Tour Guide after playing through negates is absolutely insane. But yeah, his games were pretty similar to that. Zeus wrecks that deck. Round three was against Michael, playing Dragon Link, probably one of the hardest matchups of the day. Game one, he actually won the dice roll. I ended up imperming his Romulus, and his board consisted of Barload Savage, Appaloosa for 2, DMZ Dragon, Pitsy or LP, one of the two, with the Buster Link attached to the Pitsy or LP. So the Pitsy or LP only has 1,500 attack, and my hand was fairly cracked. I had Tour Guide, Sea Archiver, and Desires. So what I ended up doing was I went normal Tour Guide to the zone that the Appaloosa points to, and then chained the Sea Archiver to chain block it, and then summoning out a Sir. Then what I did was I went into battle phase and I killed I believe it was LP, killed the LP, and then got rid of the Buster Lock. And then I went into a Cherubini. I then forced out the 2 negates of the Appaloosa by using Cherubini's effect. For some reason he negated it even though the send is cost. He negated that, and then I dumped the Farfetch'd cost, also targeting the Barload Savage to banish. He negated that with Appaloosa again. I then special summoned a Lubick from my hand, and then linked for the Sir, Cherubini, and the Lubick and his Borrowload Savage into the Link 5 Mommy. So basically he ended up having a board of DMZ Dragon and Appaloosa with 0 attack, and I ended up having a board with Link 5 Mommy, Cherubini, and a set strike. So he couldn't play through that. Then game 2, I feel really bad for him. He made me go second, and I opened Nib and Lancia in my hand. He couldn't play. I actually OTK'd him. I just made Borrel Sword with my Nib and ran over the token and killed him. Yeah. Then round 4 was against my good friend Dom, whose deck profile will be featured on this channel. He came second place, which is absolutely incredible, playing True Dracos. Just one key problem, Dom. You know, we sit and we playtest. He's my playtesting partner, so I know every in and out of that deck and every card he plays. So that wasn't to his advantage. He knows the same with my deck, but obviously I'm building my own decks where I'm helping him build his decks. So it's a little bit different in that situation. But I ended up 2-0ing him as well. It ends up against Draco, you just end up playing Caveman Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, you just poking, making Zeus's, you know. You don't want to overcommit because of all strikes and judgments and floodgates. He also made an issue, I believe, with siding in rivalries instead of there can only be ones. There can only be ones hurts the deck a lot, but rivalry doesn't. I can play around with fiends, whereas if there can only be one, I suppose you can play around as well. Fiends go into the warriors, go into the machines, that is Zeus. So I don't know, this deck is an oddly good matchup against stun and stuff like that. Then the finals, which is the only game that I dropped, not round, I did win the round, was against Sash playing Cyber Dragons. Round 1, he just outgrounded me. He had just too many answers to the things that I was playing, and I misplayed a lot, to the point where I actually thought to myself, damn, am I cheating? Just because afterwards I realized how badly I misplayed. Round 2, however, I got my mindset back together, and I ended up just playing like stun, just a bunch of traps and sitting on like a Scam, and then making, you know, Zeus, and then trying to get rid of the Cyber Dragons before he can Chimera Tech it away, the Fortress it away, because unfortunately Zeus is a machine. But yeah, so I ended up winning that second game, and in game 3 we actually went into time with him having used Verta Anaconda, so he was 2k down. But he said to me, you know, Sash is a good friend, but he said to me very mistakenly that he had game. So I sat and I said, play it out, and he played it out, and he committed to an insane board where he had like a whole bunch of monsters, and I think he actually filled up every zone, and he machine duped on a core, and all I ended up doing was just Torrential Tribute. And then I had a Sir on field, as well as a Scam, so I searched a tour guide for the next turn, and the Sir brought back Dante. So he did not in fact have game. But yeah, then that was the finals, and that's pretty much the tournament report. So I guess we can just jump straight into the deck profile. A lot of this is going to be familiar from my last deck profile. Just a disclaimer, this is not similar to Gabriel Zombie's deck profile that he topped with recently. This is very, very different from that. But yeah, I guess we can just jump in. So of course we're playing the best card in the deck, 3 Tour Guide. This is without a doubt the best card in the deck. And like I said, the fact that you can then hold on to this depending on your hands and then summon it in turn 3, or if you're going second, use this to push after breaking through negates is absolutely insane. This card is the best card ever printed in Yu-Gi-Oh! In my opinion. It's not even close. Amazing card. You have to play it at 3. I know some people say 2, you're wrong. Play it at 3. 3 Rhino, I've been an advocate of this forever. Like Gabriel Zombie says in his deck profile, this can pretty much be any of the BA monsters, which is why I like it at 3. Also, people say 2. I don't think so. I think you should play this at 3. Also, for your follow-up turns, if you have this in a BA, you can extend, and then if you mill it, you can chain block your graph and the important BA effects from going through. 3 graph, 2 Scam. I cut the 1 Scam mainly because sometimes the search isn't enough. Like you're searching and it's like, okay, cool, I now have a card, but sometimes it's not enough to play through. So I cut one just for more names. This I did take from Gabriel Zombie's deck profile, which I'll link below because I'm making so much reference to it. 2 Scum, 2 Sir. I was playing 2 Sir originally anyway, but I'm back at 2 now because of one change in the extra deck, and also because you never want to see it in hand. I didn't banish 2 of them today off Desires, which is insane. 2 Livic, that's a little bit different from Gabriel Zombies. I think this card is actually insane. I think you actually have to play it at 2 just for the OTK potential and also just to extend through negates. I like it at 2. 2 Farfa, I am thinking once again bumping this up to 3, as it is the most free extender in first turn because you never use its effect. But for now, I'm trying to keep the BA engine at exactly 20 to allow for 20 tech cards. So only 2 of the Farfa. 1 Alec as the 3rd Farfa and a different name. 1 Calcab. I kind of want to play this at 2 just because of the meta at my locals. 1 Barbar for the burn. It didn't come up in time. Luckily, the Cyber Dragon player burned himself. 1 Absolute King Black Backjack? Not Blackjack. Backjack. This card came in clutch today. Whether it was milling BA monsters to get their effects or it was milling trap cards, this card was actually very, very spicy. And I did only see it in my hand once, which technically is a brick, but I had Dynamiscus, so I could just discard it and extend from there. It's actually very, very cool. I like it. I don't think I played it 2 just because you actually don't want to see it. You want to send it off of your Fiend Grievings or of your Beatrice. But insane card. And then my Spice, and probably the best card in my deck, is Sea Archiver. This card won me so many duels today. This card by itself enables OTKs. Tour Guide plus any special summon BA in hand is an OTK only because of this. Because what you can do is you go Tour Guide, summon Graph. Graph and Tour Guide into Cherubini. Graph summons Sir to a zone Cherubini points to. Then you go Cherubini, dump Sea Archiver, buff whatever, special a BA from hand, chain the Sea Archiver, summon the Sea Archiver, overlay that with the Sir into a Dante. Then you've got a Dante, Cherubini, and 1 random BA. Link 4 into Borrow Sword. Dante Sir, add back the Sir to hand, Dante summon, and then discard the Sir to make a Beatrice, and you've got Beatrice and Borrow Sword, which is over 8k damage if they have no bodies. You can mill with the Dante to hopefully get a hit of Scam, which then disrupts their board and makes it 100% an OTK. But through a board of nothing, this is an OTK. And it's also the reason I play particular hand traps as well. So the only hand trap I'm playing technically is the Lanciers. Taking away from Gabriel Zombie's profile, I did think about main decking Dimension Shifters. However, Dimension Shifters are dead after turn 1. Lanciers not. I mean, you can have a stacked grave and you can activate a Lancia. And the main reason was it was between this and Ghost Spells. And I thought to myself, oh, the reason it was between this and Ghost Spells was because of DD Crow. DD Crow and Dante is game. Like, if you can come back as a BA player after getting a Dante Sir loop broken with a DD Crow, then you're a god. But I can't. I don't know how. I mean, the board, the normal combo you do, you'll just end with an IP. Okay, great. Now what? Like, it's so this is to stop DD Crow if you really have to, but otherwise it's really good against the meta stuff. So it's really good against zombies, it's good against dinos, it's good against VW, it's good against Dragon Link. So it's just an insane card to main deck. Shout out to Roloff for telling me to main deck this. And I think it's the only hand trap worth maining right now, because obviously this is a stun, slow, grindy deck. So I had to main something to stop them just in case, because a lot of rogue decks you can just kill them. You don't have to worry about hand trapping them, but some of the combos that the better rogue decks and the tier decks do need to banish. So yeah, that's why we main deck those. Then the 4 power spells. So I don't have prosperities, So I ended up playing Desires, and because of that, ratios in my deck changed. So the ratios for the BA are very similar to Gabriel Zombies and the Prosperity Dragoons build. However, I'm not playing Dragoons in this build. Now, reason being is the bricks, okay? I actually almost gave up on this deck. I think 2 weeks ago I had a little hissy fit at locals. I lost like, I think it was a 5-round locals and I lost 4 rounds. And I was losing to garbage. Like I was losing just to the worst things. And it was mainly because I was just drawing hands of like 4 BA monsters and a Desires, and then desiring into more BA monsters, and it just felt wrong. So what I've done to actually offset that is I'm playing a higher deck count at 44, and I'm playing more traps. So it kind of all offsets itself. This came in clutch so many times today. Shout outs to Sash for not negating this with Dragoons or Infinity in game 3, and then me drawing into an Alpha to summon and then crash into the Dragoons. And then combo through the Infinity. Like that was just, I don't know what the hell he was thinking. But yeah, letting this resolve. So this is kind of like a catch 22 kind of card. If they let this resolve, you almost have so much advantage, hand and card advantage, that they can't win. But if they negate this and you have a tour guide, it's the same thing. Like this card is just insane. I prefer this build over the Dragoons build. Sitting on a Dragoons is just not, for me personally, I feel like it's not really, not ethical, but it's not fun. We're playing the 3 strikes, you have to, one of the best trap cards ever printed. We're playing, the only other hand trap is 3 Imperm. Now the deck, like I said, is 44. The last 4 editions were actually these 3 in the Sea Archiver, and this came up today. I hit a Romulus with an Imperm, like I said, in Dragon Link, which slowed down his combo quite nicely. And against Rogue, this just beats Rogue. And like True Dracos, you hit the Inspector Border, you hit the Fossil Diner, and you can just gain advantage in that way. So I don't think in a 100% meta locals, like where there's VW and there's, you know, okay, well, Drytron's out, but like D-Link and Invoked, Shaddoll, Dogmatica, I don't think this is a very good card. But in a locals where a lot of the decks rely on their normal summon, I think this is a very, very powerful card. So I ended up playing just the 3, and to being able to set it and then use it is also quite nice. I wish this card was good at my locals. The amount of times that I had this card set and my opponents were playing Zephyrs, which don't get graveyard monsters. My opponent was playing, I was expecting Dinos. But yeah, in theory this is an insane card, and it is. It's very, very powerful. I did use it against Sash, which was quite powerful, to get rid of the Nova. I banished the Nova, and its effect only works if it goes to grave. So he couldn't get into Affinity, which was quite strong. But otherwise, you know, not much to say on these. These are staples in the deck at this point, but they didn't put in work for me today. Sea Archiver did. A card that did put in work though, Double Torrential. I'm bumping this up to 3 as soon as I get a 3rd secret. I have a 3rd, but it's not a secret, and I'm a bit of a rarity whore. The fact that one is 1st edition and the other isn't just bothers me already, but we won't talk about that. This card is insane. Full blowout. Sometimes you're using it to get rid of 1 card, sometimes you're using it to get rid of 5 cards, but it's an insane card. I love, my favorite play is to just end on Dante Sir with this set, so it's under 5 summons, so they can't nib you, and then you still blow up their board and you get all your cards returned basically, which is just so strong. Another card I want to bump up to 3, Dynamiscus. This card is absolutely insane. I never used this graveyard effect to summon itself. I never felt the need. Also, I don't like locking myself out of using the BA cards, which is a little bit iffy. But yeah, this card is insane. Being able to just banish, remove something off the field, whether it's a spell, whether it's a trap, you know, like a rivalry, or there can only be one. It's just so strong. I don't know what I'd cut to add these. Like I said, the deck's at 44. I don't want to play 50, because then you stop seeing your tour guides, your rhinos, and your BA monsters. But maybe I'll cut these last 2, because these 2, I have big opinions on these 2. So the thing is, right, this card is only as good as the card it sends, and you're already making Beatrice turn 1 90% of the time. So like, why Why is this necessary? Yes, it's a DD Crow, but DD Crow isn't as strong as it should be, I feel. Like, yes, it's a good card, but 9 out of 10 times they can play through a DD Crow, which is what this is. But I don't know, I'm feeling weird about this. I did use it at one point to stop a Striker Dragon from triggering and then sending a Scam to get the tour guide to finish the game off, which was cool. But I don't know how I feel about this card. It's a very, very good card. It tunes out everything in your deck, but I might experiment cutting these two and adding the third Torrential and Dynamiscus. But yeah, that's the main deck. Put in a lot of work today. Very, very happy. Off to the side deck, the best card ever printed in Yu-Gi-Oh! Besides Tour Guide, 2 Zeus. There's not much to say. There's not much to say at all. I'm not even going to say anything. Downed, Fortune Tune. We did finally get the Fortune Tune. Thank you, Nick. These cards are insane. I don't know how cards like this exist in Yu-Gi-Oh! Beatrice, Bay, 2 Dante, Purple Dante, which I summoned only once today against the Cyber Dragon player who popped my Beatrice for some unknown reason, ungodly reason. Okay, and then this was the flex spot. So I had one flex spot between this and Gravity Controller, and I picked this, and my word did this come up today. I used it to eat up a Starving Venom, I used it to eat up a Borrowed Savage that still had like 3 or 4 negates. It was mad. So this card is insane. Like, its effect was never came up, but it literally basically is just a 3000 beta. But the fact that you can non-target remove anything and then still get a body from it is very, very strong. I mean, if you think about it, you basically would commit the same things to a Borrow Load, and then you would attack with the Borrow Load to steal, or Borrow Sword if you really need to get over something that can't be targeted or is unaffected, or so this is a summoning condition. It's almost like Lair of Darkness. You just tribute it. So I liked that aspect of it. So I did play this today, and it actually came up. So I'm quite pleased with that. Appaloosa, I didn't summon it today, but again, if your combo goes how it should go, you can link this with your Unicorn and Dante after you've used your IP and your Beatrice, and then you can normal it to a guide and it's safe from hand traps. Borrow Sword, ended games with this today quite a few times. Unicorn to go in with your IP, Cherubini, this is how you play through negates. IP for your Unicorn, and Phoenix for your generic link 2. Originally I was playing a Lambda with a Gamma package to play through the Nib, but you know what, I'm playing so many traps at this point, I thought, nib me, let me trap you, and then just follow up in the next turn. So yeah, that's the extra deck. Side deck, 2 nib. Speak of the devil, and he will come. Only against the Dragon Ink player. Everybody else summoned like under 4 times or not enough times to warrant this going in. 2 Zeus, and yes, I am going to point out and flex a little bit of the Starlight Zeus. Shout out to Chad for hooking me up with that. Zeus Alpha. I get Alpha and Zeus mixed up because Zeus is an Alpha. He's an Alpha Chad. Shout out to Chad. But this card is insane. The fact that you can plonk it down, return something, and then by returning itself and something, you clear your board, so you make all your BA names live again. Like that's wild. And then being able to summon it again, because all your BAs are small. A Dante is only 1,000. You make a Dante, you summon this again, mold the Dante. Like, it's insane. This card is insane. It won me the game against the Cyber Dragon player. Being able to crash into Dragoons, which this deck struggles with a lot, is very, very important. And this card by itself against a bad Dragon Link player can out the entire board. So I don't think 3 is warranted, because technically my third one is my Pankatops, but is definitely a card worth playing. That's it for the monster side deck stuff. Back row stuff, Harpies and 3 Cosmics. Not twins, just because I want to usually shotgun the Cosmic in standby or draw phase on a zombie world or a lost world or a set super poly or something crazy like that. And I don't want to commit the discard, especially if I'm in top deck mode. But yeah, so that's the back row stuff. I only sided it in against Dom playing Dracos, and then I stacked my Feather Duster with my Backjack and then drew into it, and it was just a blowout. 3 Dark Ruler for the Dragon Link player and the Phantom Knights, so not much to explain there. One of the best side deck cards in the game. And then finally 3 Judgment. This is to stop the back row, the Feather Dusters, the Cosmics, and the blowout cards like Double Evo Pull, Zombie World, stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much the deck profile, ladies and gentlemen. It was a winner mat tournament. I won this beautiful Freezing Chains mat, which I'm actually going to be giving away. So I will be giving away this Freezing Chains mat to whoever likes, comments, and is subscribed to the channel. And then for an additional entry into the draw, the competition, the giveaway, you have to follow and like my most recent tweet. So my Twitter handle and my Twitter information will all be down below in the description. So for an additional entry into the giveaway, you have to follow me there, like my most recent post, and then you'll get a second chance at getting this beautiful mat. I did think about keeping it for myself. It is absolutely stunning, but I have so many mats at this point. It'd be better going to somebody who needs it, or somebody who collects mats, or whoever wins it. I'm not going to judge who wins it. You could have 1 million mats, you could have 3 of these. It's not going to be judged on that. But yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed this deck profile, ladies and gentlemen. It's always a pleasure. Burning Abyss, best deck 2021, Beatrice Pass. Not much else to say. I hope I'll check in the next one. I might have some sponsored stuff coming up, I might not. I need to actually chat with them. Some Ghost of the Past stuff happening. But yeah, thank you so much. I hope you all are having a great Easter weekend. If you are religious, if you aren't, I just hope you're having a great long weekend. And yeah, catch you in the next one.